Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired and informed. And today's video is brought to us by Identity Defense, which is a company that offers powerful and comprehensive identity theft protection services. And my guest today is Stephanie Rajari, and she is the head of defense and insurance and identity at ID, and she is going to talk to us about some of the issues that we're facing when it comes to financial and identity protection. So welcome, Stephanie.
Thanks for having me. And I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk to you and your viewers about identity theft protection and how we can best protect and educate ourselves.
Well, I know you've been in this business for 15 years, so you know a little bit about identity protection services. And I'm really happy to talk to you because we did a short little survey with our 60andMe members, and they are very interested in this topic. And so what we're going to do is do 4 videos, everyone, so that we can touch on 4 different topics separately. And this first one is going to be about scams on Facebook, shopping scams, and romance scams. And that's actually a really big topic that a lot of people asked about, Stephanie. So let's get started. I'm excited to learn. So tell us what the most common shopping scams are. Let's start there.
Well, the most common shopping scams, I would say, are phishing scams. And phishing scams are email or text message scams, where the email or text message looks very much like an authentic email or text message you may get from a banking institution, or when you're managing your credit card, or even an online retail store. They're typically emails and text messages, and they typically look like they come from a company you trust, like your bank or your credit card company, or a store that you shop in quite often. The trick is that they usually ask for personal information to verify your account, and they're nefarious. So when you're giving them that personal information in an attempt to verify your account, like your login credentials or your SSN, they're actually stealing that information, and they're using it to either access your accounts or to steal your identity.
Do you know, I've actually found this many times. I mean, I've had this experience, and I'm sure that everyone's nodding their head saying, yes, that's happened to me. And, you know, you just have to, sometimes you can tell by the language, there's little things, the spelling is a little bit strange, or it just doesn't feel right. But, you know, so that's really a good summary. But tell us, you know, sort of what are the most common romance scams that we come across in online?
So romance scams, we sometimes refer to them as sweetheart scams. They can also be referred to as online dating scams or confidence scams, and maybe a term you all have heard before, catfishing. So they're usually very elaborate fake social media profiles. These scammers go out and they create you know, an Instagram account or a Facebook account, or even an account on a dating app. And it looks very legitimate and very much like a real account, but it's very elaborate. And they create these accounts really with the goal of engaging their victims. They're trying to stir up romantic feelings, stir up, you know, a connection with whoever they're engaging with, but they almost always escalate to a request for either cash, credit cards, gift cards, or access to your account. So those are some telltale characteristics of what we call a catfishing or a sweetheart scam.
So I know other women, we've talked about this before on 60andMe, and a lot of people will say that they sound really genuine. And the question that always comes up is, why do they target older women? I mean, it seems like there seems to be this, you know, currently this trend, and it's putting a lot of people in a very fearful position, because we want friends, we want to have intimacy in our lives, but
that's right.
And we're very trusting, but how do you explain that?
Typically, a romance scam or a sweetheart scam will start as a very casual conversation that turns personal. And you may find yourself interacting or chatting with the person multiple times a day in a very short period of time. And as the intimacy increases, you start to share information about yourself or about your life. And once the scammer feels like you're smitten, or that they've really got you on the hook, then they'll start to ask for financial assistance. And these requests for financial assistance are typically things that seem very legitimate, like they're in an emergency situation, or they need money to buy a ticket to come see you. And you start sending money to these people, and then you're really not aware of who you're sending money to. But we're all susceptible to this. It's not just, you know, people above a certain age bracket or people of any particular gender. And we've seen a big increase in the instances of a sweetheart scam, they've actually increased 50% since 2019. And that's mainly, a lot of it can be driven through COVID. If you think about the fact that we've all been in lockdown, we've all been in isolation, and for many times, we're just now starting to come out. And for at least 2 years, we've been, especially people who are over 60, who are isolating probably more at home than other demographics. There's a sense of loneliness, and scammers have taken advantage of that. We've seen a rise in online and social media platforms and using those as a way to stay connected. And that's just been like fodder for these scammers to be able to use those social platforms to engage with people, and also legitimize the fact that maybe they're not on video or they can't meet you in person. So
Yes.
it's created an environment that's just been very ripe for this type of a scam.
So what are some of the things that someone could look for? I mean, that's the one that you just mentioned sort of sparked my interest, because it's that idea of, I can't really talk to you on this line. Let's go on that platform. Or this darn computer, it's still not working. That video is not working. What are some of the things, obvious red flags?
Yeah, there's a few that I'll call out. The first thing is knowing what signs to look for, and educating yourself is always the first place to go. But some things that seem suspicious and that should raise your alert is something we call love bombing. And that's when the scammer showers you with compliments or affection in a really short period of time, and they're trying to engage you emotionally. And then that very quickly switches to a request for some kind of monetary compensation or monetary provision. You mentioned another one that's a really good sign is if someone asks you to switch to another platform or another mode of communication because they want to speak to you privately, that's suspicious. Refusing to chat on video, and then of course asking for cash or gift cards and presenting an emergency situation is always a red flag.
We want to be kind, don't we? I mean, this is the thing. You always want to see the best in people, but the scammers are out there and they're looking to take advantage. And I'm glad you said not just older women, because we are certainly not the only ones. What was the statistic I was reading? Something like, every 10 seconds, someone in the United States is being, taken advantage of in some way.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I would believe that.
Intense, yeah. So, okay, so we talked about shopping scams, and I think we didn't actually probably, give any kind of suggestions as to what to do with that. But I'd like to know what you would suggest. I mean, in terms of if you're faced with a shopping scam or a romance scam, what's the best way? What's the best thing to do?
I'm going to separate them a couple differently for a second. I'll wrap up on the romance scams. I think some really good things to do when you find that you may be in a situation where you suspect that you could be in a romance scam, or you're not sure, or even just to prevent them in the first place, is the first thing I would do is set my privacy settings. You can set your privacy settings on all of your social media platforms, and you should be setting those to limit who can see your posts and information and make your account private. If you do engage with someone, or you do meet someone on social media, I mean, that's the purpose of a dating app. If things seem to be going too quickly, trust your intuition and slow down. There's no need to rush. I would also Google the person you're engaging with. Google is a fantastic tool, and you can Google their name with the word scam or something they've told you about themselves. Like if they said they're in the military and that's why they're overseas, Google their name with the word military. But most importantly, you should remember that you should never send money to someone you don't know.
Okay, so dating scams, we could probably talk about that forever. And we actually have done some articles on this topic because it's one that has been, really of interest to women. But identity defense, of course, you have, several programs and products that you have to enable people to be aware. Are there any specifically for dating scams and shopping scams, or are your packages, your offerings more comprehensive than that?
They're more comprehensive with that, but we do have some particular features within our product and our service that do help address dating and shopping scams. The way that we approach identity protection with identity defense is we really organize our strategy around 3 main points. The first is monitoring. With your permission, we monitor the accounts and personal information that's most important to you, and you tell us what that is, like bank accounts, credit cards, or your credit file, and then we use that monitoring to provide you alerts when something seems off or suspicious that may indicate risk. And then lastly, should you become a victim, we have a recovery process and specialists that help you get through that recovery process. Identity defense does include some particular features that are helpful with online scams or with romance scams, and I'm going to call out two. The first is our social media monitoring benefit. So the social media monitoring benefit provides members with alerts regarding recognized scams. So we know and monitor scams and are out there all the time kind of figuring out what the next big scam is. And if those identified scams have been posted on your social media account, we'll give you a heads up and let you know that something seems suspicious here. The other one that I think is directly applicable is high-risk transaction monitoring. So with high-risk transaction monitoring, we look for transactions that have the members' name or personal information that are typically associated with things like payday scams, payday loans, or new account openings. If someone is getting a payday loan or a new account opening using your information, that's suspicious. So we would alert you with some activity like that occurs, so that you can either call us and have us help you through it, or authorize that is a recognized transaction and you did actually authorize it.
Yeah, it's really important, I think, to have someone looking out for you, and that's why we're so interested in talking to you, because I think that it's really valuable. But so we've done dating, romance scams. In terms of shopping, was there anything specific that you think that people should do? I mean, other than looking at the website, making sure it's not obviously fake or not representative of the type of site you would normally go to. What else?
Sure. So there's a few red flags that I would typically look for with a shopping scam. The first is, again, intuition is always your best friend. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. I would also really be careful of any kind of advertisements or offers that you get that really stress urgency, or that say that there's a problem with your account and you need to address it right now, or you're going to be arrested, or we're going to, you're going to miss your tax refund. I would also look for errors, something that looks unprofessional, like emails that don't address you by name or have poor spelling. Those are all things that I would look out for.
Okay.
In terms of like how to protect yourself against these types of scams, I would not. The recommendation we always give people is don't click on any links that are found within an email or a text message, but instead, if you get an offer and you're interested, instead of clicking on the link, go to the website that you're familiar with and see if that offer is also available on that website. You should also look to make sure if someone directs you to an email, a website, that you look for HTTPS, which should be the beginning of the website address. That ensures that there's a special type of security technology that will protect the information and encrypt the information that you're sending through that web.
Okay.
Again, just like on the other, for the romance scams, you can Google the company and Google the word, combine it with the word scam or complaint to see what types of things have been, registered for that company. And the last thing I would suggest is if someone calls you and they have an offer, this has happened to me, and they have an offer that sounds too good to be true, or it sounds like it's a little off, like you bought a cell phone that you didn't buy, just call the company back directly using the website, and that way you know that you're actually reaching the company. That's happened to me where I've gotten an Amazon call that says I bought a cell phone and I know I didn't buy a cell phone. So rather than responding to the person on the line, I say, thank you, I'll just call Amazon directly. Yeah. I called Amazon directly, and lo and behold, there had been no purchase of a cell phone on my account. It was just a scam trying to get me to give information so that I could, remedy this issue that really didn't exist.
Yeah, I've actually had emails too from like fake shipping companies saying there's a package waiting, something you've ordered from, and I don't even know if they said the company, but there's just there's something waiting for you, but you owe $1.80 shipping. And before
I've never gotten that one.
Yeah, and before you pay that, we can deliver your package, we need you to give us the $1.80. And it says DPD or something. It has the name of the company on there. It's scary. But there's ads everywhere, Stephanie. I mean, on Instagram and like you said, whenever there's an offer on Instagram that looks interesting to me, which isn't too often, but you get tempted.
I get stuck all the time with
the website. Yeah, I just go to. There was one from a company that was actually turned out to be legitimate, and but I would order it from the website, not from within.
That's right.
Instagram.
That's exactly the right thing to do.
Yeah. Wow, this has been super helpful. I hope that you found this useful, everyone. If you've got any specific questions for Stephanie, please leave them in the comment section below, because we'll be checking these videos all the time and answering your questions, your personal situations. And also, as I mentioned, we're going to be doing more videos on different topics related to identity and financial theft, and just keep looking for those. Also, there's going to be a special page for 60andMe if you want to check out Identity Defense's website and look at the different offers that are available. There will be something especially for 60andMe, and that information will be in the description box under this video. So did I miss anything, Stephanie? Any final words?
You got it.
Okay, everybody. Well, thank you for being here, for watching. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Hope these tips have helped, and look forward to sharing the next one with you shortly. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Margaret.
Bye.